Jerry Brown here with Jerry Brown Travels.
Right here.
10 ways to decide if Mexico is right for you. And so we're going to break it down and give you 10 things to think about before moving to Mexico. A lot of times, to be very honest with you, we've been here, what, how many years, Lori?
We've been here in Mexico about 13, almost 14 years.
Yeah, and so a lot of times it is, the bottom line, sometimes it is a love-hate relationship. Sometimes on a weekly basis, there are a lot of challenges that come up. Now, you have to remember, it's a different culture. And because of a different culture, they have their own way of doing things. And so we're in their country, we need to adapt to their way of doing it. We don't need to expect them to do it our way. And these are some of the things that they do. As an example, service here. Servicing, let's say if you're calling a carpenter or a plumber or an electrician, anybody like that, it could be your maid and stuff. And there's a good chance that they won't
show up.
They won't show up. They won't call you. And so that sometimes becomes frustrating, especially if you have a leaky faucet or your toilet's overflowing and you need somebody to be in there right away. And that can be a real problem. That's something you have to ask yourself, if that really bothers you, Mexico may not be for you. And there's another thing down here is cleanliness. And there's a lot of times where things aren't as clean as you expected. As an example, let's talk about toilets, Lori.
Well, toilet paper, after you use it, you cannot throw in the toilet. You have to put in the basket.
Yeah, and so a lot of places, especially the older units, they recommend that you don't flush the toilet paper down the toilet, but actually put it in a little container next to the toilet. Does that sound gross? Is that something you can live with? Well, that's a tradition, and that's what you have to do down here. The plumbing is not the same. Another one, too, when you go walking down the street,
it's a lot of dog crap.
A lot of dog crap on the streets, okay? They're not really in tune to picking up after their dogs, and they don't do that. And so that's something you have to be able to live with. Also, there's other factors. As an example, a lot of times in the houses, they may not have a purified water system. And so then what you have to do is you order bottled water, and you have that delivered to your house, and you need to drink bottled water. A lot of times, you definitely don't drink out of the tap water unless the house or the hotel has a purified water system. In those cases, you can drink the water. So that's something that some people, freak out about. Also, in talking about water, a lot of the homes, they have a water tank, very typical. Most of the homes are going to have a water tank to store the water. It can be underneath the ground or it can be on the roof. And sometimes they don't get filled. The water department doesn't turn on the water valve to fill up these water tanks. And so you run out of water. What do you do about that? You can't flush your toilet. You can't take a shower. It can be frustrating. And so you just have to live with it and wait until they eventually get there to turn on the water. It could be a day, it could be an hour. So this again is something that happens here. Another problem is a lot of times we get, in areas, the electricity will go out. And so the electricity may go out for an hour, it may go out for overnight. Well, now you have your refrigerator.
Yeah. It's kind of tough. Don't go, we're not done yet. The other time is internet doesn't work when electric was go out.
Yeah, and also with the internet is if you want to work online or you want to stream videos and stuff like that, Netflix and stuff like that, there may not be enough power on that internet service. Also, the things down here, the laws are different, okay? So the way you drive your car is different down here. There's different ways of making a left turn or a right turn. Depends where you're at in Mexico. Another one too, Amazon, okay? Amazon has spoiled a lot of people, especially in the United States, where people will buy and they'll return it. They'll buy it and say, well, I'll just get it and then I'll return it. Mexico does have an Amazon and they will deliver it to your door. And usually Amazon is pretty good with returning. But if you think that you were to go to a Walmart and be able to return something, you're not going to be able to do it. Well, you may, but I bet it's going to be a challenge. It's going to be a super challenge, you know what I mean, to get them to give you back your money or exchange it for something else. That's just the way. Speaking the language, okay, and that in itself is a difficult one, huh, Lori?
Oh, yeah. I can talk about go to the shopping, you know, get some grocery store. But when you go into the Medicare and go into the lawyer office, oh man, I just don't understand at all.
No. So if you're going into a clinic or into a hospital, we would hope that they would have somebody who speaks English. They don't. Majority of the times they don't have it. So if you're really in a real emergency need, may be difficult, but you would want to bring an interpreter, okay? Especially if you're going to be checked into a hospital or if you're going to go to a clinic and you need, bring somebody that speaks Spanish and so they can be your interpreter. That is a real challenge because you expect in the hospital they'd have somebody to speak English, but they don't. It's Mexico. And so we're accustomed to a lot of special things and you'll find you have to adapt. Another thing that can be a challenge is the money. And so you're going to be using an ATM machine. Now, do you know how to calculate? You know, say you want $100 worth of pesos to come out. Do you know how to get out your calculator, calculate how many pesos you need to tell that machine that you want to take out?
Well, the bank is different bank. Some bank they give you only 500 pesos. Some bank they give you 1,500 pesos.
That's right. So not all banks are going to be able to give you the same amount of money coming out. They may limit you, and so you may have to go to a couple banks to get enough money, you know, for maybe your month's supply or your week's supply of money using the ATM machine. Mexico's not for everybody.
No, it's not everybody. For everybody.
No.
Well, yeah, before you move, you better think about that first.
Yeah, that's a good point, Lori. In other words, do your homework. Look at YouTube channels like ours, but not only ours. Look at other YouTube creators. There's a lot of good information there. Do your research on your Google searches and your search engines. The thing is, come down to an area, spend 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, longer the better, and get a feel for it and see if it's right for you. But take your time and just don't go sell everything. We get people who go out, they sell everything, and they think they're going to come down here because they watched a couple of videos. They watched Lori and I goofing around and playing and you know and having a great time and stuff like that. They don't see the ones where Lori and I are fighting it out. Huh? Well, it's more I'm getting hit than I'm not hitting her. Is Mexico right for you? You determine that, and as a couple, talk about it and make sure that both of you are on board with the same goals, and that'll really make it a nice trip. Now, another thing too, we do offer a service where you can contact me, and the description is down below, and we can have a private conversation and go over some of these things. And I just got off the phone this morning with a gentleman, and he wanted to come down and he's looking at his Social Security. He didn't think his wife would qualify for a Social Security because she hasn't worked much. She didn't have enough points. Well, after we had the conversation, I'm saying, no, that's not true. She'll be able to qualify, but I asked him to verify it. She can qualify for Social Security. So right away there, the amount he paid me for the phone consultation, he saved right away. And so I know I can save you money, and I know I can save you time. You know, I hope that we bring you value and that you like us, give us a thumbs up, make a comment about it, and also ring that bell
For notification.
and notification. That way we'll send you a notification and you'll know. Every Friday at 5 p.m. California time, we post a new video for you, and so look forward to those also. We live in a gated community, and so it seems to be a nice option for us. There goes a water truck.
No, it's a gas.
No, it's a water.
It's water? Looks like a gas to me.
I don't know.
Okay.
Did you hear all that noise?
You can afford the driver. If you were Elnie, you can afford. Okay.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I talk too much.
She gets too excited. Well, you see my face pop up there? Just touch on it. You'll be subscribing. It's absolutely free. Also, comment and thumbs up. We'd appreciate that. Oh yeah, don't forget to subscribe.